Sage Orange here, and welcome to another Midwestern Minecraft Mining Livestream. We are here on episode number 19. We have had a couple hiccups in our stuff in the stream here. We have, of course, been mining stuff, doing stuff, all that jazz, and it's been a thing. I've been able to discuss some stuff that's been going on and all that, and let's see, is it still being wonky? I think it's still being wonky. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure, guys. Let's see. Like I said, this is why I do use my laptop for QA. And anywhoozle, we are most of our way through our mining stuff right here. And we've been our hello, a little bit bigger gold ore patch than I anticipated. So anyway, we've been all the way out this way toward our toward the end of our mine, and we are now finally. There's some lapis. I'm not gonna worry about all what's in right here. The moss blocks. Some of those are just too hard to reach. Go ahead here. Quickly grab the tree, you dud goof, son. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about uploading the thing there because the somewhat glitchy because probably got corrupted. I'm not going to worry about it. I've been having trouble on Twitch's end lately trying to upload stuff. So I'm probably, for my own sake, on both my end and Twitch's end, I'm not going to bother trying to. Ooh, hello there. Copper. It's like, I honestly, there are times where having these technical difficulties, like, sort of thing, you know? So anyway, just before we had the DOS glitch of, ooh, there's some more copper right there, huh? Let's see here, can I do that? Wretched full inventory. There we go. How did I not see that copper? I've been through the area. How did I not see this copper sooner? So here I am. I'm overthinking stuff again. So anyway, oh, that's right. That's why I'm wanting to do stuff. Let's decant our general loot and get my bloody shovel back because I needs it. But, tree, don't be a dum-dum. So anyway, before we had the technical malfunction, I was again going over, oh, jeez, okay, we're good. Come on, there we go. Come on, tree, you can do it. I was explaining alternate paths to from going from Treelandia to Durango. And I did a little bit of a look-seeing. There. Check you there. Yeah, taking a look-see at potential alternate routes for getting to Durango from Treelandia. And, in this case, Google Maps recommended, going straight there for part of the trip being interstate system, U.S. Interstate system to, and then using U.S. highway system to do the rest. And, I tried a little experimentation, off cam, and said, oh, geez, this is not gonna work on cam. I need better allotment of canopy power to try to make sure that the routing would be the way I'd want it. But preliminary results were showing that, some degree of, of course, it would be longer, of course. So let's see, we're going to need 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just seeing what the stuff they were saying. Because I knew that it would be longer, but it's a case of, does the additional time and distance justify? Is it justifiable in the end? And like I said, I would have to, obviously, compared to, being on stream, I would want to be able to not have to worry about, diverting canopy power to the additional trip length, while also streaming. I want to have, full concentration on, crunching the numbers, as it were, for all this rigmarole. So anyway, as part of this whole dealio, part of what I did was talking about going through some of the mountains on US whatever highway it was. I think it's like 550, I think it was. Going through south central Colorado into and getting through the part of the San Juan Mountains and all that, and basically trying to go through all that. And I want to go take this azalea, and we are going to take it back out and do a thing with it, plant it somewhere. They do what? You can always go elsewhere to get it. So anyway, going down 550, whatever it was. Let me double check here. Let's come back down here. Quickly double check my thing here. I was trying to remember where it was specifically. Let's see. Yeah, I know that I was fairly deep into Colorado. Let's see. out. There's Alamosa. It was 160, US 160. That was it. I was like, was it 550 or was it one? It was 160. So I was traveling down 160. Let's see here if I can find approximately where I was. Let's see, there's 160. It heads north into merges with 150. I mean 550. I think it's the mountainous area east of Bayfield, Colorado, and west of Chimney Rock Mountain. It was somewhere in there. Somewhere in it was a very. Or is that it? It was definitely, yeah, it was, let's see here. Oh, yeah, I found it. Okay, I found it. Yeah, it was 160. It is east-northeast of Pagosa Springs. And trying to find South Fork, southwest of South Fork, and 160 between South Fork and Pagosa Springs. That's the area I'm thinking about, where there's going through some fairly rugged terrain. I'm driving through my stuff, driving myself through. First time on this particular highway, this federal highway, U.S. highway. It's night. The sun has set. The sun is set. I know that I'm in mountainous terrain. I might be lucky to see, even with my beams on regular, because I had a driver in front of me. Beams on regular, and I have this, I'm not going to say any explicatives, but I have this jerk following me, behind me, and all that, following me. And, I tried adjusting my mirrors a little bit so as that, for whatever reason, his vehicle, I think it was, I don't remember what sort of vehicle it was. I know it was a sedan like I was driving. And, even after adjusting windows and all that, my rear view windows and all that, both the outside, left, right, driver's side, passenger side, and interior cabin stuff, even adjusting those, excuse me, but it felt good. This guy's lights, and I'm not sure if he had his brights on or what, but his lights were just a huge pain in my posterior, because not only were his lights in such a way as they were essentially shining, kind of was making me feel at night partially blinded because of his lights. But also, he was running up my posterior. And I'm not a local. I'm just presuming that they are, if not a local, at least someone decently familiar with the area, and they're riding up my butt. And I'm not, not being familiar with the area, I was like, I'm not gonna go fast. I don't want to go fast in an unfamiliar area. I don't care how much you want to go. You're going to let me drive it, and there were a number of times where this joker could have passed me, because there are passing lanes in the area for all this. And do they? No. They just keep... See, it was probably about 30, 40 minutes. It felt more like hours, quite honestly. But this jerk was rushing up my butt. And like I said, being in this more mountainous area, I'm not going to rush. I was lucky, if my lights, when they were on, that if I could see maybe 10, 15 feet, about 4.5 meters, at times, before it went completely black again. And I'm not going to go try rushing down stuff that is, a huge pain in my stuff, because it's just, I'm not familiar with the area. I'm not going to rush. If there's a mountain, if there's a rock slide that suddenly comes screaming down the mountain because of, whatever, a tree falls, or a gust of wind knocks a tree over just right, or knocks over part of a rock formation that it was just, barely hanging on, and that little nudge is all it needed to get loose and all that. And, I don't, I'm going to be careful, because, if taking it slightly slower, that's obviously going to help save my arse, from being splatted and all that. And, the La Plata... I'm not sure if that would be La Plata County or what, or the county to the east of La Plata County. I know that La Plata County is where Durango is located in. I don't want the La Plata County, sheriff, medical staff, or, for whatever the hospital was there, to say, okay, we have a non-Coloradan here. Let's see, this here is Osage Orange. He is from Treelandia. Who can we contact as his next of kin? Because obviously, they would be able to, see that, my ID, if it managed to, of course, survive the wreck, say, Osage Orange, Treelandia. That's why I made sure, roommates, I knew that they would be doing their own thing, and I still gave them a copy. I made sure to give tree parents, a copy of my... I also need to go take a look-see here. Throw out my break screen for just a second. Actually, let me double check while here on my laptop. Let me see if Faithful has full pack. Let me see. Let's see. Downloads. 32X is dated July 5th. July 4th for 64X, the 4th. Yeah, it's 121.7, and we're up to 121.8. So, let me give you guys the link to the Faithful website. Yeah, without I'll also make sure to do a thing where I'll pull over the the links to from our screwed up thingamabob, and all that. So is that we can do that for you guys. So let's see here. There we go. I'm just taking a look, see at something right here on the faithful pack here, and just just poking around the side here. And as I've said, me myself, don't get me wrong, the standard pack here can be a thing, and is yeah, it's just, for me at least, as Daedalus, back when he was making Minecraft stuff and doing stuff like Datacraft and all that, his philosophy for Datacraft was something that was easy on the eyes. It's not, feels like you're getting, getting high beams in your eyes, of stuff. And all that. Let's see here. No, it's like, don't get me wrong, there is some nostalgia for me having, done the historically default stuff here in Minecraft. It's just, I want something that is a little bit easier on my eyes. And that is often why, I have found, I've gone through various packs over the years. I said I know that Daedalus, he unfortunately no longer produces content. He hasn't produced content, I think it's like in about 4 or 5 years. Well, that's of course because he's, got into a relationship with, I'm not sure if he and Venomous Wench is, at the time of stuff, I'm not sure if if the two of them have, gotten married, but I know that at the time that he was starting to essentially wind down his content creation material, they were dating, so they may have gotten married, they may not have. I'm not sure. I'm not going to pry into his life. Come on. There we go. But, yeah, it's, part of me finds it, sad that he's not producing content anymore. But at the same time, I totally understand if he has found himself someone that he can spend his time with. And I know that, to my recollection, Venom has kids from a previous relationship. So, if he is, gotten himself to the point of needing to go and get himself a far better job rather than be a content creator, make sure he gives the kids a good, Venom's kids, even though they're not his biological children, give them a good life. He obviously made that executive decision. I need to get a real job, take care of these kids, give them the best possible life I can. If the time comes to where he can, come back to content creation, all the better. And I know that due to our technical issues stuff, we just got back into stuff here. I need to take a little bit of a short break. I was trying to get the stream back up and running, so gonna go ahead and do a short little break. So yeah, guys, let's everybody stand and stretch. Let's everybody get something to eat, get something to drink, use the restroom. I'll see y'all here in a few minutes. Okay, guys, tree is back. Figured at least a little bit of a short break to get myself all stretched out there. Excuse me. Get to go use the little trees room. And so yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to being able to eventually go back to Durango. Like as I said in the messed up one, I'd have to, not be distracted by stream, to be able to help devote more canopy power to plotting out the route, because trying to figure out, say, okay, we're taking a 50-mile, 100-mile detour. I don't know what that would be exactly in kilometers off the top of my canopy. To spend more time on the U.S. interstate system, how much, additional time would I have to add to stuff in order to, how much additional distance would I add to save even a fraction of time? Gosh, I'm trying to remember how much it was. It's going in my canopy now again. Let's see here. My curiosity is once again getting the better of me. Tree home. Well, that could be an option. Doesn't add much more time, and it keeps me on. That might be up to something worth considering. Slight little changeover. That would be a... Well, taking a little bit more highway system there, even though it would be, like I said, it adds well over 50 miles, but it adds just about an hour overall. But part of that is going faster too. Huh. That might not be too bad. Bypass some of the slower routes. And I wouldn't have to worry quite so much about some of this stuff. I'd still have to worry about mountain passes and all that, but yeah, it's some of that stuff that isn't, maybe doing it like that was sometimes, maybe the slightly less direct route, taking it faster, might be worth that extra little bit of driving, It'll still be long as heck, but you know, some of that's you know, taking a look at some of that stuff would still be is better on the map. You know, previously traveled areas. Not all of it would be previously traveled. Some of it would still, for me, be new. And one of the things that I want to do is go to Colorado Springs. Oh, hello there, Copper. Don't really need you, but I'll still mine you. I want to go to Colorado Springs and, you know, basically, you know, figure out some of the itinerary for that. Definitely want to go visit the Cog Railway. Mantua and Pikes Peak. Oh, I hear you there, Drowned. Hello. Kindly mind your own gurgling there and keep yourself quiet, please, son. Whoa, hello. Hello there, Mr. Drowned. Take this. But definitely want to go ride the Cog Railway. And basically, I haven't been to Colorado Springs, and it's part of the. It said 318 is going to, no, 315 is getting to go to Colorado Railroad Museum, the Polar Express stuff in the fall, as I said, at the Colorado Railroad Museum. And, you know, 318 is at the museum itself, so, you know, two sister locomotives essentially being reunited. And get rid of this bloody gravel. Next year I'd been more or less planning to go out east to Pennsylvania. Make a trip out there to visit the excuse me, the glad I got out of the way of that ground. Oh, you miss me, son. I bet you do. Gurgle all you want, Mr. Drowned. You're not gonna get me. But, planning for next year to go to out east to visit the East Broad Top and gurgle all you want, Mr. Drowned. You're not gonna get my butt. The reading in Northern and the EBT. And then Heiss announced that RGS 20 will be heading to Durango for some operations there during the winter. And was also released in conjunction with information for the Colorado Railroad Museum about that. And then the museum announced, hey, 315 and 318 of the Florence and Cripple Creek Railroad are going to be reunited. You know, we'll still have our static display locomotive 318 and 315, which is operational. We'll be doing Polar Express stuff. And so, you know, when I heard that news, I was like, well, my eastbound trip's just gone out the window. So that's going to be a thing. Oh, I just remembered we need to fix this pick. Duh. We're in the perfect opportunity to do such too. Turn it back to peaceful. I'm going to momentarily head back to the thing. To the smelter. And we're going to tap into the smelter's XP banks. And turn off sound so that I don't blow either my ears or anybody else's ears out. So that is why, you know, what I had more or less been starting to essentially push forward the 2028 plan. I mean, the 2027 plan to next year for Colorado, which was basically go to Colorado Springs, you know, depart Treelandia Sunday, and get to Colorado Springs. Hopefully in a somewhat shorter time than it took me to get to Durango. And then spend, let's see, sort of idea I had was to do sort of what I did for Durango is get there Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, through Wednesday morning in Colorado Springs, then Thursday, Friday, then go to Denver. You know, Colorado Springs is just essentially a stone's throw from Denver, so then, you know, spend, you know, sort of a short transit day, but also going to visit a couple places, you know, going from Colorado Springs to Denver, then get to my hotel in Denver. Wednesday. I might do Thursday. Then Friday, Saturday. Definitely in Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Definitely in Denver. And then return home on Sunday, the following Sunday. So anyway. Oh, that fixed us right quick. I was I knew I'd done some smelting. I didn't know that there would be that amount of experience. Hooray! It's like pick fixed. Hooray! So yeah, it's I'm gonna have to start really planning it far more in advance for that trip for next year. And I've definitely got some stuff in mind that I definitely want to do. I want to go visit the Garden of the Gods. What I'm thinking is that because of the Pikes Peak at Mantua and Pikes Peak Cog Railway, they recommend you be acclimated for the trip. So because for example, you're going from like 6,800 feet to over 14,000 feet. I don't know what the conversions are in meters. you're going from one elevation to another. What I'm thinking is, for that trip, is having a, instead of doing like I did with Durango, where, because, you know, it would be, or because even though it would be a challenge, it wouldn't be too much of a height differential. Going from, and because of course I'd be taking time, going from Durango to Silverton, you know, my tree body of course would have a better chance to slowly, because of the speed stuff, there would be more time for my tree body to acclimate. And so I'm thinking that if I do take a ride on the cog, that it would be very late on Monday, but probably actually spend Tuesday. Oh, hello! Cole, come to Tree Daddy! Is, spend Monday puttering around, doing some puttering around, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, well, technically, if we do this, boop, I'll still meet that 11. So anyway, spending Monday puttering around, doing some of my puttering around of Colorado Springs. Maybe on, say, Monday, go visit Garden of the Gods. One of the guys that I know at the grocery store I go to is one of these sorts of people, you know. He seems to have been working there forever. He's been working there for a long time, as far as I remember. But he's been to Garden of the Gods, so he says, oh, you gotta go, you gotta go. And so that's why I'm thinking that for the trip is that's what I would do, is I would go to Garden of the Gods and do some puttering around there, you know, visiting, you know, and visit some of the other museums and all that. And just see what there was to be seen. And then on Tuesday, have that be my ride up the Tuesday, have that be my ride up the cog railway. That way I'll, you know, as like, you know, I'm Treelandia's lower elevation than Colorado Springs. So figure, give myself a little bit of time to further acclimate, because I'll essentially be doubling my altitude, or more than doubling my altitude. And by doing that, having less altitude sickness. Because when I flew to Pennsylvania back in 2018, meet up with friends from the GGG, I actually, when I was on the flight, I actually experienced a little bit of altitude sickness. And quite honestly, I was not, I was aware that it could be a thing, but I honestly wasn't expecting to anticipate that. But yeah, I felt a little queasy. And that's why I'm thinking, you know, calling upon that experience. I was like, yeah, don't be queasy, tree. Queasiness is not fun. Don't want to be sick to my trunk core, you know. So, you know, that's why I figure, you know, give myself that Monday to, excuse me, acclimate to the, what we'd call, you know, base altitude, for Colorado Springs. And and part of what they also recommend, and something I totally am totally getting behind, is drinking a lot of water. Yeah, basically, for me, thinking, let's spend a day just getting acclimated to the altitude. Just work smarter, not harder. And I figured that if I could get myself acclimated to the altitude, where are those torches? Like, I know I yanked them out. Where are they? Hello. Yeah, so get myself acclimated, but still have some fun. I'll probably, do a visit to the Garden of the Gods. Pick out a couple places, and do one of my usual. Pick a few places to go, visit them, and have fun. Because there are those times where I am just so gung-ho about getting so many places done at once, it can be a little overwhelming. But that's, of course, why I do the extensive planning. Basically, get myself basically an ops plan. Say, okay, I'm going to go, what's places I want to go? I'm going to do blah, blah, blah. Whatever blah, in this case, whatever blah, blah, blah is. If I want more azaleas, I'll come pick them. Yeah, just basically, plan things out. That would actually be kind of a thing after, it's like having done the ride to Silverton from Durango on my first day in Durango. That was kind of a little bit of a stretch in some ways, for stuff. Now, of course, the trip up Pikes Peak is going to be significantly shorter, but of course you're going higher in altitude versus longer in overall distance. It's 42 miles. I don't know off the top of my canopy how long that is in kilometers, but it's some distance in its own way. And having had that experience, now granted that it was, of course, essentially a 10-hour trip, but totally worth it. Totally worth it. I'd seen it in, pictures and videos, and I was like, oh my god, I want to go! Bring it over here. But totally worth it. I'm figuring that if I do another trip back to Durango, I might spend, instead of saying, because there's other things I could do in Durango. I only spent half my poke around town day doing stuff. Eventually was getting tired. I was like, yeah. It was probably because of the trip the previous day, doing the DNS run, that I might just do a slightly different setup next time. So, you know, get to Durango late Sunday. Excuse me. Have Monday be, do some other stuff. Tuesday, second ride on the DNS. Wednesday, more poke around time. Thursday, go for Colorado Springs or Denver, depending on whatever the itinerary plan. You know, part of me would love to move to Colorado because of the mountains. I'm not sure if I'd want to, you know, move to Durango or one of the, or Denver or Colorado Springs or where. Might choose one of the other states. In that area, you know. Not sure if I'd move out on the West Coast or not. Oh, creeper! Like I saw something green. I was like, is that a creeper or is that a Zambit? You know, it was, you know, if a Zambit was just wasn't doing its thing, and then I saw it was a. That's why I said the tree brain went, oh my god, it's a bloody creeper! What's the darn thing? 1, 2, 3. So did a thing where I literally gotta fix stuff. Bloody creeper. Ow. We'll just leave that as a monument to creeper explosion there. But I'm thinking I may for next time, I may just do that sort of thing. I'm definitely going to want to do on a future visit to Durango. I think especially for a DNS ride, second DNS ride, to spend less time doing photography and more time definitely try to spend a little less time taking photos. Because, and all that. Just try to enjoy the ride a little bit more. That was definitely one of the interesting... When I do that. It was definitely one of the more interesting parts of the DNS ride was having the... because of the particular setup because of the way things were with me having a 21 plus coach, basically being over the age of 21, no kiddies. And that's why part of the reason why I chose that. I've already told the story of the one mother, her like 3-4-year-old, however old her kid was, her parents, her kid's grandparents, were in my coach, and they were in the coach ahead of us. And I was on the way back to Durango from Silverton. You know, the grandkid wanted to come see the grandparents, and the mom said, no, little one, we can't be in here. This is 21 plus car. And when she finally got her kid back in her arms, you know, picked up her kid and got him back in her arms. The kid just, you know, and I was sorry for the mother. The kid just started wailing and I was like, oh my goodness, madam, I am sorry for, it's like you're on a train ride, trying to give the family a good experience, and your kid is, I felt sorry for her. Obviously, she wanted to let her kid go see her parents, the kid's grandparents, but obviously, they were in a 21 plus car. That was part of the reason, as I said, that was most of the reason why I chose the 21 plus car, is I didn't want to have to deal with the kiddies. It's not that not having kids is, would be a good thing. It's definitely a very family friendly adventure. Definitely, if any of you guys, if any of you streamers, content creators out there watching here, if you have kids, it is worth the expense to take the Durango and Silverton. I just went by myself, but because I'm a train person. But it is worth the experience. I am not wealthy by any means. I work a retail job. I made sure to save myself up some money for the event to go do this. But if you're, I would highly. It is very, as I said, very, very kid-friendly. It would be a very good thing if if you have kids that are, say, I think this is me personally, my recommendation would be try to go when your kids are probably about, I would say maybe, about 10 to 12 years old. Hello down there, Zambit. I see you there, son. You ain't gonna come get me, that's for sure. But, my recommendation would be, for any parents out there, about 10 to 12 years old. That way, they're not necessarily quite in the rebellious teenage years, or they're starting to enter those more rebellious years. But they're still, decently young enough that it can be a very family appropriate adventure. So, yes, I would totally recommend it. Because, it's that old saying is, nothing lasts forever. I've had, when I worked at the grocery store, different from the one that, one guy I know that works at the other one, it's one thing, but, I knew that wasn't going to last forever, and I didn't want to stay there. It was getting to the point to where some of my coworkers were just blah. Some of my coworkers at my current job are blah. And but yeah, it's once my aviation coworker, the aviation enthusiast, we'll call him. He saw Jacob the carpetbagger. This was about 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, that he took a ride on the Durango and Silverton. And aviation enthusiasts knew I had gone, and when he saw his Jacob the carpetbagger's video, I'd shown him some of the stuff that I took, and he got to see a little bit more of the stuff that the carpetbagger took. And aviation coworker was, his jaw was, from what he was essentially describing, his jaw was on the frickin' floor. And he said, "Oh, Sage, oh my God," knowing that you went and then finally getting to see Carpetbagger's video. "Oh my God, I want to go." And it's a case of, I want to go soon. And I was like, well, coworker, plan out your stuff. And so I was like, I am going to start to plan. And then it was like a couple days later, he went and said, hey, Osage, I was taking a look-see at flights from the Treelandia region to Durango, and there's a couple interesting options I have at my disposal. And it's for the way it's looking, it'll be fairly decent for me to get a decently priced trip. I'll have at least one layover in Denver that I'll have to worry about. For one of the options, for that was just one of his options, is a layover and a short layover to switch flights in Denver to be able to then go to Durango. But I'm looking at it, it's like it's only going to be like the equivalent of, like, I think he said it was like be equivalent of about 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours. Out from Treelandia to Denver and then Denver to Durango. And I said, well, aviation coworker, it sounds like you have the opportunity to develop and execute a fairly decent plan. And, as I told you, I took the 21 plus car because I did not want to have to deal with the kiddies. I would wholeheartedly advise you to do the same, and it'll be more expensive, but you won't have to worry about the kiddies. And he said, I will definitely bear that in mind. And Toby was, I don't remember if he spelled his name with Y or I for the vowel. But, oh my God, he was very energetic. He was very, very energetic. He was the sort of person that is very well suited to his very suited to the role of being a coach attendant. And I'm glad I had him, because he was just, he was a perfect example of a good attendant in my book. Very, very professional, very hands-on. He was more than willing to say, okay, guys, if you look out left side of the coach, which was my side of the coach, that's the seat I was able to get. If you look out the left side of the coach, coming up here on the left in about 30 seconds, we should have thing. Or, okay, guys, here on the right side of the coach, here in about 10-15 seconds, we are going to have this, And, he would go, and he really did a good job of explaining that sort of stuff. I myself, that would be an interesting little thing for me to do, but honestly, I'm not as much of a people tree as Toby would be. I myself, I would prefer to be on, like, the, I would prefer to do stuff like the brake crew, the brakeman. They had several I know I've told the story that on our way back to Durango, and we stopped in Rockwood for the later half of the part of the later half of the trip up to Rockwood. I don't exactly remember where we were off the top of my canopy, but I know it was before Rockwood, the Rockwood State halt, that the train was, I heard over the crew radios, they mentioned air. And for those of you who know anything about, at least definitely here in the U.S., the way air brakes work is basically you increase pressure, brakes released. decreased pressure, brakes on. So there was, I heard, one of the crew was walking by. I don't think it was one of one of the junior conductors, not the lead conductor or one of the brakemen. I heard on the radio, so it was like something about the air system. And Treat Brain goes, oh, have we got potential issue here? Because, as said, if you have, issue with your brake system, especially in a mountainous area, you don't want, you don't want that, being, a compromisation of your equipment. Oops. That's okay. So, when we stopped at the Rockwood station, which was after the discovery of the braking issue, the crew determined, and it would be very hard for someone to forget, methinks, but it was on the fireman's side of the coach, on the rear truck, or bogie, if for those of you in the UK, which is it's a 2-axle, 2 sets of wheels, 4 wheels in total. They have a pivot point that supports the rear end of the coach. It looked like it was the brakes were sticking on the front set of wheels of the truck. I know I've told the story already, and so the crew was going up and down the train. Various crew members were going up and down the train, trying to see where are the brakes sticking. And finally, it was determined that I remember the principal conductor. He finally, between him and the brakeman and the other crew members, they determined that it was my coach, Yankee Girl, the 3rd axle, which is the leading axle of the rear truck, was one having sticking brakes. And so they pulled out one of their sticks that they use to help, check equipment, so they're not, having to dive under the train to check for something, unless they absolutely have to. And so, one of the brakemen went and got the conductor one of their long, about 3-4 feet long, about 1 meter long, and went and jiggled the brakes loose. And the next day, when I took the yard tour for the DNS shops, the volunteer I spoke to, was it the guy that let me? Yeah, I think it may have been the parking guy. No, wait, it was the tour guide that I got. He was at the museum, the DNS museum. He said, it was like the engineer yesterday on yesterday's train was just real pissed off when they got home yesterday. When the train got home yesterday, I was like, well, I was on that, and I said I was on that train, and what happened was, I think she was so pissed off. It's a female engineer. I said it's because Mike, the coach that I was on, Yankee Girl, I basically explained the story as I just more or less told it. And he said, that's why she was pissed, sticking brakes in the air system. I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't know every single little detail about how an air brake system on a train works, but I basically know more pressure, brakes off, lower pressure, brakes on. And that sometimes brakes stick. And he said, yeah, that would explain why she was so peeved. I was like, yeah, well, I would be peeved too if I had one of my coaches in the rear of my consist having sticking brakes, making the train run difficult. definitely, for me at least, that is a fond memory. You know, as inconvenient as it was for everyone, that's actually one of those little, you know, fond memories that I have. And the guy on the Monday, when I went in, it was like, you know, I was out, you know, went and asked him, you know, is there, you know, any way I could take like a tour of the at some point tomorrow? Would I be? Do you guys have like a tour of the roundhouse sort of thing? And it's like, yeah, we have those every day at noon. And so, you know, that became, you know, I wanted to, you know, be able to see some of the other locomotives. And getting to see some of that behind the scenes stuff. Oh my God, that was so freaking amazing. That was part of the reason why on Tuesday, you know, after I took the guard tour, I was like, yeah, I'm feeling walked out. My roots are tired. After doing so much walking, looking around. Got to see some pretty nice stuff. There was this one store that sold, the proprietor sold rugs, and let's see here, and you know, it was just part of me poking around town. I wanted to see some of the stuff that they had, and let me see here. Poke around. Let's see. Durango rug store. I think this is it. Yeah. Okay, yes. This is it. Found it. I found exactly thank goodness the proprietor put, there it is, the Durango Rug Company. Nadim Mull is the proprietor. And he had some pretty sweet looking rugs. Pretty in nature. I was like, like I said, it's like, I know I didn't have a whole lot of money set aside to be able to buy any rugs, but I wanted to, you know, just go and see what he had, because, you know, there are multiple cultures around the world. And, you know, it sounds like, you know, for, you know, some of the cultures around the Himalayan mountains are very well known for their beautiful rug designs. And so, for me at least, it was a case of, ooh, let's go see what rugs this guy's got. Some really nice ones. I said I didn't have the money for them, but to buy any, but it was still worth a stop in. I didn't want to have to, you know, worry about, you know, stuffing, say, a 10 by 16 rug in the car and having to say, how in the heck am I going to get this thing home? It was totally worth stopping in, though, to at least see. Am I still on? Yes. Like, I was thinking, wait a minute, am I still on difficulty? Yes. Yes, I am. And, that would have to be a thing for me, is, oh, hello there, Ion. Is, there is, you can get to, by US 550, you can get from Durango to Silverton. It's called the $1 Million Highway. I know that with the, trip I was able to take on the DNS, is that there wasn't a whole lot of time to, there was not as much time as I would have liked to been able to go visit, more of Silverton as I would have liked. However, I was able to at least get some paraphernalia, and that's a good thing. Let me Gimme, gimme! Go ahead here. Let's break into this dirt. And we will have some more dirt. That's the thing my aviation coworker said, hey, Osage, I saw this thing about being able to do zipline stuff in conjunction with the railroad. You know anything about that? I said, I personally don't know. I do know that on my trip, that there were some hikers that, you know, got dropped off and then were later on the return trip got picked back up. And, but I'm not sure about the ziplining option. I said, okay. So why would you be interested in doing so? A little bit of high adventure, you know, ziplining in the mountains. And it was like, that's not necessarily my cup of tea. But I just wanted to, you know, ask if you knew anything. I was like, nah, I don't know too much about it, so sorry. He said, that's all right. That's all right. It's for some people, you know, they want that adrenaline rush. I'm not gonna argue with somebody if they want that adrenaline rush. More power to them. That's just not my cup of tea. Let's see here. Dirt deposit into our thing here. Yeah, basically I said I don't know too much about it, but you know, it's I know that hiking's a thing. Hiking and I think canoeing is the other big thing. Let's go ahead and get some more dirt here so that we can future-proof against need. So, hooray! Use a big place. So we will go ahead and proceed forth. But yeah, that was one of the things that Toby talked about was, ooh, hello. Stupid water. Silly thing. Let's see here. Let's torchies up in here so we can future proof. And where is my thing? Where is my hole? Hello, Mr. Oxodal. Here we go. There we go. We'll just head down this way. The more. Hello, Zambit. Goodbye, Zambit. Run away, run away, run away. And you are on pursuit course. Yes, master. Take sword. Take sword again. But yes, it and that would have to be a thing. Is that now if I did do the DNS ride again, I might do like a drive up to, it's like an hour's drive up to Silverton from Durango. I'm not gonna worry about getting that clay. Yeah, we want to go be able to go check out Silverton a little bit more. blocks so I can take them home and sort them into the sugarcane farm. Time is it? What time is it? Yeah, it's starting to get late for me. I want to make sure that I get some time to fully relax for stuff. So, what we'll do is we'll start the next side gallery here. I'm going to go ahead and end stream. Like I said, if it weren't for those technical glitches earlier, this would be a much longer episode, but stuff is stuff is stuff. I told Burbles earlier it was the stop in Durango. It was Durango. Animas Brewing, the pasties. Oh my God, that was, like I said, it's very much reminds me of a pot pie. Totally worth buying. So let's go ahead and do peaceful. Oops. Decant our stuff here. Might take in a run of metal here, specifically the copper. Might do a smelting of that. That way I can make sure I have more fixins for the main mining pick here, but we're going to go ahead, like I said, doing parts of technical error. We're going to go ahead here and go ahead and end stream. Don't think we're going to go ahead and head out on a raid, just end stream. But if you're watching here on Twitch at twitch.tv/OsageOrange, please go ahead and remember to hit that follow button. If you're watching over on the YouTubes at youtube.com/OsageOrangeGaming, please remember to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon for notifications. It really does help. Hope to catch you later today, Monday, hopefully 5 p.m. U.S. Central Time. Definitely, hopefully by 6 p.m. U.S. Central Time for another episode of Let's Play Titan Quest Season 3. Hopefully an episode of the same series on Thursday. Next Saturday will be another episode of City Building Saturdays on Pharaoh Cleopatra. And next Sunday will, of course, be another episode of a Midwestern Minecraft Mining Livestream. So, yeah, I do appreciate everybody who's come out. Hope to catch you on the next episode. Ta-ta for now.